Hi YouTube, Netlord80 here again, just doing another video. Just shot one, yes, and yes, I'm still in my PJs. It's now about 5 in the morning, so I'm kind of tired, but I can't kick these little coughing fits from all the congestion. And this flu I'm still trying to get over. But I wanted to do another video, kind of goes along with the last one I did on 9/11. This one's on the the quote 9/11 truthers. I'm sorry, but you guys are the biggest bunch of idiots. I mean, these conspiracy theories are so outlandish it's not even funny. One of the big ones I hear is controlled demolition. It was the towers came down because of controlled demolition. Well, there's a little small detail you're missing, idiots. With controlled demolition, you have to have a lot of people working to put the explosives in place. So you're telling me with upwards of 50,000 people in those buildings on any given day, nobody noticed this? Of all of those people, nobody noticed people planting explosives around the building. It's not very likely. Not to mention the fact that you're talking about a conspiracy so huge to be able to pull off, it's not even reasonable. Nobody's going to stay quiet. Somebody's going to get ticked off and spill the beans. But they would have by now, a long time ago. And you'd have them coming out in troves because of all the people that would have to be involved. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And the other thing the 9/11 truthers are doing is like, the government did it. The evil government did it. Yeah, the government in and of itself may do things that people don't agree with from time to time. But there's a little fact that it, again, is not taken into consideration. These are people. These are human beings. Do you honestly mean to tell me that many people are going to be so heartless and so evil that they will knowingly kill thousands of people? You know, the government isn't some entity. It's just made up of regular people. These are people with families, with friends. They're not going to do something like that willingly. It would never get off the ground. It just isn't going to happen. It's just, these theories you guys propose are just so asinine, it's not even funny. I mean, you're so... Oh, another one, Building 7. Why did Building 7 collapse? It wasn't hit by a plane. No, it was hit by debris from the World Trade Center that was, you know, concrete and steel 110 stories high. It caused major structural damage, and it was on fire too. Not to mention the shockwave from the buildings falling would have caused damage in and of itself. Most of the buildings around the World Trade Center were severely damaged. Several of them had to be taken down later. I think they're still if I remember correctly, they're still demolishing some of them because they were too badly damaged to be habitable. So that one happened to fall on its own. Yeah, that's not surprising. It was very close. I mean, it was part of the same complex of buildings. I mean, that was a lot of concrete and steel to be coming down. You got to think, you know, 110 stories going up is a hell of a lot of debris coming down when you lay it flat on the ground. Not to mention this stuff is falling, so it's doing a hell of a lot of damage on the way down. Not to mention the buildings in New York aren't rated to deal with earthquakes, which is effectively what these buildings falling were like. And people also like to discount the Bin Laden factor. I mean, Bin Laden had been making attacks like every year for a number of years. I mean, he'd been going after the World Trade Center since '93. He just happened to be successful this time. Another thing that's mentioned is how convenient the the only known footage of the first plane impact was. That was part of a documentary by a French film crew. They were doing a documentary on firefighters. They happened to be investigating a possible gas leak at the time this happened. They just happened to be in the right place at the right time. If you don't believe me, that's fine. You can actually. They ended up putting out the documentary later. I actually own the DVD myself, where they show the footage going up to it. They were following these firefighters from the beginning. It was basically following a firefighter from, first getting through the academy school, whatever it was, through being a probie through his first year. Well, this particular kid, it was fairly interesting. No big fires really happened while he was on, until 9/11. So it's, but that particular documentary actually has footage from inside the buildings. It's just the amount of coordination and the number of people it would take to pull off a conspiracy of that magnitude just isn't reasonable. I also read on 911truth.org that is talking about why did the plane happen to hit that part of the Pentagon? Well, the Pentagon wasn't the intended target. It's just a really big building out in the open. There's not a whole lot around it, so you've got a clear shot at it. Most speculation is that they were actually aiming for the White House and they just missed it, because that's a really hard target to hit. And besides, if somebody like Rumsfeld was in on it, do you think he's going to want to be in the building that gets hit? Yeah, maybe he's not in the same section, but something could always go wrong. A fire could spread. I mean, a million different things could happen. You're not going to want to be that close to it. It's just too dangerous if you know it's coming. So I just don't buy it. It's really asinine. You're go out on these frickin' limbs trying to look for some kind of explanation where you can blame it on the government. Well, it just doesn't work. I mean, you've got like a couple hundred people probably that buy into it, but these are just the nut jobs that believe people are watching them through their radios. I mean, most of these people are just completely off their rockers. I guess that's really all I've got to say about that. I'm gonna have to take a while editing this thing to edit out all the coughing fits I've been doing. Hopefully it comes out okay. Talk to you guys later. See ya.